You know, when we obsess over guitar tone, our minds usually jump straight to pickups, pedals, and amps. But what if the most fundamental part of your sound is the very thing you're plucking? Today, we're diving deep into guitar strings. And trust me, they aren't just simple wires. They're the very first breath of your guitar's voice.
This right here, this is the core of everything we're talking about today. This isn't just some minor detail. It's a massive factor in how your instrument sounds and feels. Strings aren't just passive parts waiting to be played. They are an active, crucial component in the entire sonic system.
Okay, so what is the real difference? It's not just about the gauge, how thick or thin they are. It goes way deeper. It's about their fundamental construction, how they're built, and what they're made of. So let's unravel the details.
First things first, let's get one thing straight. Strings are not neutral. They are the very first ingredient in your tonal recipe. Think about it. Before the sound even hits your pickups or resonates through an acoustic's body, the string itself is already shaping the vibration, defining the feel under your fingers, and even telling you how the entire guitar should be set up.
All right, so let's start with the physical construction. When we look at the thicker, wound strings, the first major choice you'll run into is the texture of that outer wrap wire. And believe me, this one little detail creates a massive fork in the road for both your sound and your feel.
This table lays it all out perfectly. You've got your round mounds up top. They're bright and textured, but yeah, you get that finger squeak. Then, way down at the other end, you've got flat wounds, which are the complete opposite. Mellow, incredibly smooth, with almost no noise at all. And then, sitting right there in the middle, you've got half rounds, kind of giving you the best of both worlds.
If you've ever bought a new steel string guitar, I can almost guarantee it came with round wounds. Why? Well, it's because that bright, zesty, harmonically rich sound is the modern standard. That ribbed texture under your fingertips gives you a really confident grip for bends and vibrato, making them the go-to choice for rock, pop, and blues.
And then you have flat wounds. Man, playing these is like entering a whole different universe. The sound is warm, deep, and thumpy. It's all about the fundamental note, with very little of that bright, shimmery stuff on top. The ultra-smooth, glassy surface feels incredible under your fingers, which is exactly why they're the secret weapon for classic jazz guitar tone or those iconic foundational Motown bass lines.
Okay, so we've covered the shape of the wire. Now let's talk about what that wire is actually made of. Because the metal alloy used in the wrap is the next crucial piece of the puzzle, especially when we're talking about electric guitars. For electrics, this is absolutely critical. You gotta remember, the pickups are basically tiny magnets that hear the string vibrating. So how magnetic the string's metal is has a direct and really powerful effect on the sound that comes roaring out of your amp.
The two big players on the field here are nickel-plated steel and pure nickel. Honestly, the easiest way to think about it is modern versus vintage. Nickel-plated steel is the versatile all-around standard today. It gives you a balanced tone with plenty of brightness and output. Pure nickel, on the other hand, is like a time machine. It takes you back with a warmer, smoother response that's just perfect for blues and vintage rock.
And of course, it doesn't stop there. If you need to slice through a really dense mix, stainless steel is your answer. It's the brightest, most aggressive, and corrosion-resistant choice out there, for sure. Then, on the other side, you have Monel, this really unique vintage alloy. It has a warm, almost woody character that's perfect for taming an instrument that's naturally a little too bright.
Okay, let's hit the brakes and switch gears to acoustic guitars. The logic completely changes here. We're not dealing with magnets anymore. We're trying to make a wooden box sing. And for that, the conversation is all about bronze alloys.
This timeline tells a really fascinating story. See, back in the 30s, 80-20 bronze was king. It gave us that classic, bright, jangly acoustic sound we all know, but it had a fatal flaw. It corroded and died really, really quickly. Then, in 1974, D'Addario introduced phosphor bronze. Not only did it solve the corrosion problem, but it also offered a slightly warmer, richer tone that players just fell in love with. It's the dominant string on the market now for a reason.
And this brings us to what might be the biggest aha moment of this whole explainer. Why do all these choices about wrap type and material matter so differently depending on whether you're playing an acoustic or an electric guitar? Well, the answer is all about how each instrument actually makes sound.
So let's just ask the big question directly. Why are round wounds the undisputed king for acoustics, while electric players have this whole menu of viable options, including half rounds and flat wounds?
Okay, here it is. This is the crucial point. An acoustic guitar makes sound by moving air. The string's vibration has to physically shake the wooden top of the guitar to project any sound at all.
A textured round-wound string with all its little ridges is just way more efficient at transferring that energy. An electric guitar, though, makes sound with magnets. The pickup doesn't care about moving air, it only senses the metal vibrating in its magnetic field. That's why flat wounds are an amazing choice on an electric, but can sound quiet and kinda lifeless on an acoustic.
So what does this actually mean for you? Well, if you put smooth flat wounds on your acoustic, you're pretty much sacrificing volume and brightness. But on an electric, that same string produces a powerful signal. The choice becomes purely about your personal preference for a warmer tone and a smoother feel. And it's really important to note, classical nylon string guitars are a completely different animal. These rules just don't apply there.
All right, we've covered a ton of ground. Now for the fun part. How do you actually use this information? Let's boil everything down into a simple framework you can use the next time you're buying a new set of strings. It's a simple three-step process. First, just identify your instrument. Is it an acoustic or an electric? That's your biggest fork in the road. Second, decide what you want from the feel and the basic tone. Do you want bright and textured or smooth and warm? That points you to your rep type. Finally, you just fine-tune that choice with the material, picking an alloy that gets you closer to that specific sound in your head.
And just never forget, your string choice is about so much more than just the sound. It really does impact everything. The tone, the feel under your fingers, the amount of noise, and even how your guitar needs to be set up.
You know, ultimately, after all the science about alloys and wrap wires and everything else, maybe the answer is much, much simpler. All these technical details are just tools to help you find your voice. But the best set of strings will always be the one that feels right to you, the one that makes you want to pick up your guitar and never put it down.